Well, I finished with the assigning of the bones. What I did here is I added in a bone. You can see that bone right there, that bone there, and it goes along on all the fingers. I added them all in, named them all OL ring 3 left 50 or whatever bone that they're orienting like. Then I went into the relationship folder and I actually created those relationships, and I did that just by opening up the relationships folder and then opening up the cosmetic constraints and going in here and just double clicking on this relationship and then going ahead and doing that. I had to show non-animating bones. I just turned them on here. If I turn them off, then they go off. But I did that so that I could see them. I also hid all the control bones so they wouldn't get in the way while I was trying to pick bones for constraints. Another thing that I found is when I added those bones into the hierarchy, when I added them in, for some reason it wouldn't let me, in my relationship, add a constraint where it oriented like the one ahead of it, even though they were out of the chain, if you want to call them that. That it's on the same level as that bone, so it's not inheriting anything from that bone. It wouldn't let me. So what I had to do is I had to drag it out of the hierarchy and put it back in. And once I did that, then it worked fine. I don't know why that is, one of those quirkinesses of Hash. So anyways, I did that on the hand, and then also I assigned all the bones in the head, or all the geometry of the head to the ones in the bones that are in the head. I also added some tongue bones. If you look at these right here. And what I did is I locked the IK on all of them so that if you grab the tip and you move it in an action, it won't pull the entire tongue around. It'll just move that little tip. But I went through and I assigned everything. And so now what I need to do is I need to go through and mirror everything over to this side so that the assignments are correct. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. I saved it out as a different model, so I saved it out as 7. Let me just save that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually say save as, and I'm going to go over and I'm going to say save model as rig 8, just so that I don't screw anything up. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I want to actually have all the bones on the right of the model. I want to have all the constraints the same, but I don't want to have anything that goes up and down the middle that doesn't have a mirror. So first thing I'm going to do is I don't need the geometry. Since I've saved out this model as a different model, I'm going to go into the modeling mode, select all the geometry, and delete it. So I don't have any geometry. I'm also going to delete all the groups. I'm going to delete all the rotoscopes. And so it's just this right here. And I'm going to actually name this. I'm going to say save as, and I'm going to save it as willrig08 underscore right, just so that I know that this is my model for the right. If I go into bones mode, you'll see all the bones are still there. Everything is still the same. Relationships still work, animation still works, everything is there. The only thing is I don't need any of the bones that go up the middle. All I need are the bones that are off to the side. So I'm actually going to go into my bones here, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually get rid of, well, before I do anything, this is what I'm going to do first. I'm going to take the main bone. I'm going to go up here to my Show Manipulator Properties box. I'm going to click it, and then I'm going to hit S. Now that brings up this little box here. I'm going to type in -100 for the X, and it flips everything over that way. Do the same thing for Control Main. Click that box, make sure it's down, hit S, and I'm going to say -100. Okay, so everything is mirrored over, but now I don't want any of these middle bones, so I'm actually just going to start clicking and deleting. Anything in the middle, I don't need any of these bones anymore, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename all these bones to right, and everything in the file I'm going to rename it to right, and then I'm going to import it into the other model. Now if I had these bones in there still, I would duplicate the hierarchies, and I don't want to do that. Now I'm making sure, these are the tongue bones, I'm making sure that I'm not deleting anything that is not right down the center. Okay, so I've got everything here now, and nothing down the center, which is exactly what I want. Okay, so I'm also now going to delete the main bone, because that goes down the middle, and I'm going to delete the control main. Okay, so now I've just got all this left stuff that's sitting here, and I'm going to save it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say project new, so there's nothing here. I'm going to go to where that model was, and I'm going to right click and say open with WordPad, or any text editor will do it. So now in this file I'm going to say edit, replace, and I'm going to find everything that says left and replace it with right. Okay, and then I'm going to say replace all. It says it finished, so I say OK, I save it, and I close that file. Now I can just grab it and drag it into here. Okay, now if I go into Bones mode, hit Shift Z to frame the selection, and you can notice everything is in here correct, and it's now named. Now it's got everything in here, the bones and the relationships, but everything is named right. Even in the relationships, if I go into my relationships here, you'll notice all the bones are named right. Now in the relationships, this is one thing that I want to do before I go across, or before I import it, is I want to get rid of anything that goes down the middle. So I got to get rid of body, let's see, head, anything that doesn't say right, neck, pelvis, spine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, OL neck. All those, I don't need any of that stuff because none of those bones are in this model. So I'm going to delete those and say yes. Okay, get rid of that. I'm going to go into my cosmetic one, and I'm going to change anything that doesn't say right. So OL head, neck, I think that's it. Delete those. Okay, into my show properties, anything that goes down the middle, so that doesn't say right. Okay, so I'm going to go here, scroll up, pelvis, neck, head, body, and that's it. So I'm going to delete those. Show finger bones, same thing. Actually, that doesn't have anything in the middle, and neither, well, show facial bones. There's just eye, right, and jaw. And I want to get rid of the jaw because that's right in the middle. Okay. So now I'm going to save it, and I'm good to go. Now I'm going to go to Project New just to clear everything out. I'm going to say Objects, Import, and I want to import the one that I worked on originally, so that was Rig 7. Okay. Actually, excuse me. Forgot, I saved it as 8. So I'm going to go Objects, Import Model, and I want to select Rig 8, open it up. Okay. And here I have, in Rig 8, I've got all the stuff in here, but remember, all I have is left. I have everything in the left. So nothing on the right is assigned yet, nothing is, there's no right bones. So what I want to do now is I want to right click in the model window, I want to say Import MDL, and I'm going to select that right one, say Open, and it'll bring it in. Now you can see all the bones are in, everything's there. If I open up my bones, now you'll see that it's kind of messy in here. So what I need to do is I need to reparent all of these that are coming in from that other model. So I'm going to go to my main and expand it a bit here. Sternum right needs to go under spine 6 here. Okay. Eye parent right needs to go under the head. There's eye parent left, so I'm going to grab this, put it right there. All these thigh rights need to go under the pelvis, so I'm going to drag here, here. Oops, I missed that one. And this one. Okay. And then, let's see, thigh right needs to go under pelvis. Okay, so that's all the bones for the geometry. Now under control, I need to go hand right is under control main, foot right is under control main, and then under here, body, I'm going to go under the pelvis, control leg hinge left, control leg hinge right goes under there, and then control back, go over here, control clavicle, So I'm going to go right here, under control body, oops, sorry, under control back 2. Okay, and I'm just going to, just for clarity's sake, I'm going to put them right there. So now my hierarchy is all correct, and I'm going to save this as Will Rig 9. Okay, so now if I go into an action, I should be able to see how the properties all worked the same. The bones come in just right. I can grab the hand here and move it, and you can see how the IK works. The clavicle works. If I grab the body, the whole body moves. Okay. Only thing I'm seeing, what is that that's not moving? It would be the eye. That's because it's not assigned to anything yet. So it looks like everything is working right. The heel's working right. The foot is working right. Everything is working right. The only thing is now I need to go through and assign the points. So I'm going to delete this action so I don't screw anything up. And I'm going to start going through. I'm going to actually hide all the control bones. So I click on it, hit the star key on the numpad to show everything. And then while it's highlighted, I'm just going to scroll down, hit shift and click, but hold the shift key down until they're all highlighted. And then I'm going to hit J a couple times to hide everything. So now all I see is my geometry bones. So now what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go through each of these and I'm going to start assigning points. So go like this, and this one, just these points, and I'm going to start going through and doing all this. So you don't have to watch me do this. Pretty boring. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will come back. I've now gone through and I've assigned all the points to the model, or to the bones. So now you can see everything was mirrored over. So I've got all my point assignments in there, and everything should be working just fine. If I go into an action, notice I can grab the hand, and I can do everything I can with the other side. Everything works fine. If I grab the body and move it, I can do that. So everything's working great. One thing that I need to do now is when you, let me just right click, clear. I'm just going to close that, delete the action. One thing that happens when you import a model with relationships is you'll notice if you open up your relationships folder here, in your constraints, you'll open up control constraints or whatever it is. There's two relationships. One of them is the right and one of them is the left. And that's because it just brings them in as separate relationships. It actually doesn't merge them. So what I want to do here is I want to merge them, and the way that I'm going to do that is just by copying and pasting. So I'm going to open up this one right here. This relationship right here has all the right keys in it, or all the right ones. So I'm actually going to take off everything but constraints, and I'm going to say entire skeleton, and I'm just going to click in the window, and I'm going to say copy, and then I'm going to double click on this one, which is all the left, and I'm going to click in the window and hit paste. Now you'll notice what happened is it brought in all the right. So right, 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 and then all these too. Okay. Now I want to make sure that they're right, that they all worked right. So I'm going to close that down, close the other one down. I'm just going to start an action, and I'm going to do this. This still works. I'm going to go up to my model, say show finger bones on, and then I'm going to grab a finger bone and move it. And it looks like something is not going right. So I'm going to do a little research and I'll be right back. Okay, so what was happening was when I had those double relationships and I copied this one into this one was still overriding it. And so once I got it copied in, I just deleted it out of the control constraints, and now everything works great for control constraints. So everything is in that one relationship. So I'm now going to do that same thing with cosmetic. This one is the right, I believe. Yep, that has all the right. I'm going to open this one, click in the window, Control C for copy, double click this one, click in the window, paste. Okay, so open it up and make sure everything's there, so it got the right in there. Okay, and then I'm going to click this one and hit delete. I'm going to do the same thing with show. So I'm going to actually just expand all of these, and I'm going to retract that. So I'm going to close these two windows. I'm actually going to close the model window too. I'm going to double click this one, click in the window, copy. I tried to close the model and then do that, and it actually crashed hash, so I had to redo that. So now I'm at where I was. In my show properties, I'm going to double click this property. I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to say all these. There is no constraint in it, and so I just want to get all the etc., key other, and any pose slider information that's in there. I'm going to click in the window, Control C for copy, double click in the next window, and then Control V. So now, if I go under that, I should have those, and it should say hidden. Perfect. Okay. So then I'm going to delete this relationship, and I'm going to close both of those. Okay. I'm going to save the model just so I know I'm not losing information. Okay. Then I'm going to double click here, click in the window, copy, double click here, click in the window, paste, delete that, close those two windows, and I'm going to double click this, click in the window, Control C, double click this, click in the window, Control V. Okay, and I actually think there wasn't anything to change because these are not. Yeah, I just got the eye right in there. Okay. So now I don't need this relationship, and I'm going to save my model. Okay. So now everything should be working. I'm going to close these down, and I'm going to start an action, except for the show finger bones on the right. Let's see here, show finger bones. Oh, didn't get any in there. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to close down the action, delete it so I don't screw anything up, and then I'm going to double click the relationship with those in it. So now if I go to window or view, my timeline, my property is on right now, so they should all be showing, and when I turn them off, they should go off. So now I'm just going to click on the bone, hit J, click on the bone, hit J. That's all I'm going to do. So now they're all hidden. But now what I need to do is go back up here and turn them back on, and then go through all the rights here and hit J again to highlight them or bring them back up. So I'm going to click all the rights. And I think I got them all. So now, when I go off, on, when it's off, there's another thing, sometimes hash doesn't like that. I'm just going to go through them all again real quick. Okay, so now if I go off, on, not liking it. It's not liking it, so I'm going to try and figure this out here. Just a minute. Okay, I forgot. One thing I just need to turn all these back on the way they were before. Hopefully this will work now. Let me try it. So if I go to, if they're on, go to all the rights, hit J, okay. Now off, I'm going to do it again. So now if I go here, they are still not wanting to do it. Okay, well, for some reason it's not doing it. I'm actually just going to delete all of the right information out of here and redo it since it doesn't take that long. So I'm going to go back here, and when it's on, I'm actually going to key it. I'm going to hit JJ. Trying to click that one bone there. Okay, so now they should all have data, so now I'm going to go to off, and I'm going to just hide them all. Oh, didn't want the model bone in there. If you click out in the middle of nowhere and you hit J, it will key the model bone, so I always delete that. And that. So now, hopefully, on, off, on, off. That's weird. For some reason it wasn't working. Alright, so we know that that one works now, so I'm going to take it off. I'm going to save my model. Okay, and then I'm going to go to, one thing I noticed is show the non-animating bones did the same thing, so I'm actually going to go in and edit that one. So when they're on, they need to be on. When they're off, they need to be off. So I'm actually going to, there's a few of them that didn't get turned off. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to hit J. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all the rights, just like I did in the other one. Right. Those all worked. So actually, before I do that, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of all this stuff. Okay. So that was all that I needed to get rid of. Oh, and this one too. Okay, so now when I turn them on, what I can do is I can actually scroll through this one, and where I see a new one done, these stars, you can actually click show, 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 show. I think that was it. Yep. So now let me try it. Toggle on, off. Still didn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, so that none of these have any data on them. And then I'm just going to hit, when it's off, I want to hide all these. Okay, so now they're all hidden on off, but when I turn them on, I want them to show too. So I just go back over here and hit J, 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 J. Okay, so now, off, on, off, on. Works great. Okay. There we go. So now I'm going to close that relationship. Go up to my model, save my model. Okay. Now let's make sure that my show properties on my face work. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to show facial bones. On, off, on, off. Great, they work. That worked. So sometimes there's a little bit of fiddling you have to do when you merge the skeleton. You have to kind of go around and figure everything out, fix it, and do it. I wish they had an automated way of doing it. It'd make life a lot easier, especially when you have a character like this, where you just want to mirror stuff across an axis. And hopefully in the future they'll do that native within Hash, so it's not using some other plugin from somebody else, that they'll have it in Hash. But so I think I've got my entire model ready to go. Let me just make sure that everything is working. It is. I can move the head. Okay. Neck works fine. Clavicles work fine. Spine works fine. Okay. Pelvis works. Knees work. Feet. Okay. And this one. fingers, say show finger bones. Let's make sure these all work. That works. That works. Ah. That one works. That one works. I know the other ones worked already. And the thumb works fine. I got a new video card, and Hash has a hard time in 11.1 with this new video card. But it looks like everything works just the way I need it to. Let's open up his, let's show the facial bones. Open up his jaw a bit. Alright. And then his eyes. Eyes work. Okay, right click, clear. Goes back to your default pose. And I'm going to turn these off. And there we go. So I think we're ready. We've mirrored it all the way across, and we are good to go. So I'm going to save this model. Save as Will Rig 10. Just like that. Say save. Alright, and that's it.